don't overlook small car lots. When I was looking, I probably looked a year and a half or more. I saw a lot of great deals at small lots. This is what I was talking about earlier. Big snowplow companies will trade in their trucks. So you'll find those trucks at the smaller lots. I saw some really nice ones. Of course the price was up there, 10, 15,000, but they looked practically new. Look for local car sales magazines, where they sell cars and trucks through the magazines. Buying vehicles online is scary, so I would say avoid it. But if you do, make sure you have it checked out by a mechanic. When you go to buy it, meet in a public place, like a store parking lot, near a police station. Have a few friends go with you, because you're going to be exchanging cash, right? So I don't recommend that at all, but if you're getting a really good deal, the guy just wants to sell his truck, so that's your call if you want to go that route. Yes, it is dangerous buying a used snowplow, but you can use that to your advantage when wheeling and dealing with the salesman. If it's been used for 10 years, snow plowing, it's probably going to be beat up. So I had an older black fella that I'm friends with. He told me, when buying a used car, make an offer on the used plow, and then if they don't bring it down to that price, walk away. And what he said, and he really stressed it, he said, you got to be prepared to walk away. So remember, when you're asking the salesman to bring the price down, you're taking money from his paycheck if he brings the price down. When my neighbor bought a used car, the salesman actually haggled over like $35. My neighbor had, I don't remember the exact price, but I think my neighbor had $5,000 saved up. The salesman made him pay $5,035. He was worth he's worried about that extra $35. It's like, geez. So usually, the smaller lots, you're dealing with the salesman and not the owner of the business. So try to find a long-term salesman that's been at the lot. There's a lot of turnover in car salesmen. You don't want to get stuck with a young kid that's only been selling cars for a few weeks. He's looking at you as a big dollar sign. He wants to make thousands of dollars off that sale. Try to stay away from them. If you don't like the salesman, just say, hey, I'd rather talk to an older fella, someone that's been selling cars for a while, selling trucks for a while. You just have to get the feel for the salesman. Now, if you get a young kid that's going to give you a good deal, that's another story, right? So each situation is different. So before buying, take the truck to a mechanic and have them thoroughly check it out. My local mechanic usually checks out vehicles I bring in for free, but it may cost you like $25 or $50. If you have a buddy that's a mechanic, you can bring him, and then that'll be like the first check. If you're not a mechanic, you don't really know trucks and cars, but he's a mechanic or a backyard mechanic, he can give it a quick check for you, and then if he says it's okay, then you bring it to a regular garage and have them thoroughly check it. I remember a few years ago we were looking at a car, and it looked good to me, you know. But I brought it to a mechanic, and first thing he noticed was the side was repainted, and he could tell because it was like orange peels. You know, it was like bumpy. And then when he jacked it up, there was two big holes where they had. I guess the car was stuck in the ditch, and they had to make two big holes in the frame and pull it out. So, you know, from my point of view, the car looked good. It was, you know, it was all fixed up. But when he was looking at things a little closer, he said, this car's been wrecked. So now that may not be a reason to pass it up, though. You know, you can use that to your advantage and get the price down even more. So something like that, you can bring it to a regular shop that works on frames, you know, the frame of the vehicle. If the truck was abused or in a wreck, you know, the frame might be bent. You know, the truck going down the road, if she'll shake a little bit, you know. That might be okay. I'm not a mechanic, I don't know for sure, but you know, if it is bent, you might be able to get it real cheap. You know, they just want to get it off the lot. You know. It'll be expensive to fix the frame. I know in my younger days I had one done, and I think it was like $1,000, and that was back in the 80s. So, you know, it's worth a phone call to a frame shop. You know, not all mechanics work on frames, right? That's a specialized thing. So, you know, in general, snow plowing is low speed. You know, so if there's something wrong there, it may not be that big of a deal as long as you don't really beat it up. So that's something you have to talk with your mechanic about, and maybe some of the experts watching the video will comment down below. You know, in general, you know, you don't want a vehicle that the frame's been broke, you know, and fixed. But you know, $50,000-$60,000 truck for $5,000, you know, you can't beat that as long as it's been fixed. You know. When you're buying a used truck, you know, good tires on the truck are worth $1,000. You know, if the old truck needs tires right away, that's going to cost you at least $800 and up. $800 for cheap tires. You know. You can figure about $200 a tire, maybe a little more, plus the cost of putting them on and tax and things like that. You know, just go on a few tire websites and you can see what they cost. So if you're looking at a used truck and it has good tires, you might be able to get a couple more years out of those tires. That's a big plus. That's what I'm saying here. You know, if the tires are bald, you know, if they're worn down in different areas, you know, before you even start plowing, you're going to have to put new tires on that truck. So, okay, so this area here, I'm kind of starting off sketchy here. You know, everything I've read and seen, they say don't use F-150s for snowplowing. It's the suspension thing. You know, they aren't built as strong. They aren't for snow plowing. But on the other side, I've seen a lot of videos that say the F-150s are fine for snow plowing. So I guess it just depends on what you want, you know, how much you want to spend. So I personally, you know, I think the F-150s are fine for snow plowing for smaller jobs. Right? You know, driveways, small parking lots, things like that. If you want to get into big snow plowing jobs, well, I'd go with a 250. So here, if you're watching this video, I presume you're new at snow plowing. I would recommend a smaller truck and a smaller plow, but not too small. It just depends on what you like and what you want to do. Now, of course, the F-250s are better to push heavy, wet snow. But, how often does that really happen? Once or twice a season. It depends on where you live, too. If you live out in the boonies, lots of woods, lots of long driveways, you may need the F-250. If you live in the city, small driveways, small houses, old houses, then you might want to go with a smaller truck. It depends on the job. Suit the vehicle to the job that you want. I know for me, when I bought mine, I mainly wanted it for my own driveway. And then after I had it, I figured, well, I might as well run a few ads, see if I can help pay it off, right? But the F-250, it's big. F-250, 8-foot plow. It's tough to even get in my driveway, and it's a double wide driveway. When I do a 1-lane driveway, one swipe and it's done. There's not much room on both sides. So the F-250s use more gas. I figure $5 just to start it up. Do one driveway, that's $5 gas. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but that's pretty close. It's 25 miles a gallon. The F-250 is way more. Mine is 8,000 pounds with the plow and salt. I worry about breaking up rich people driveways. Just hoping that when they made the driveway, the contractor didn't go cheap on the cement. The more a truck weighs, the more expensive the license plate sticker that you buy from the state. A regular truck that doesn't weigh that much is more or less just like a car. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's like $60 a year for that sticker. In my state, the biggest license plate sticker that I could get was 10,000 pounds. There's a sticker, and then there's a sticker on the other side that's got a 10. That means 10,000 pounds. And that cost me $125 a year. Now, I could have gotten a smaller one, like 6,000 pounds, but I wouldn't be legal because the truck weight and the plow are like 725 or something like that. Let's say I got the sticker that was for 8,000 pounds. I don't remember the details here, but I know there was different weights. And let's say I got the one for 8,000 pounds. Well, the truck and the plow, I weighed it at a cat scale out at a truck stop, and I think it was like 7,200 pounds. Then I don't remember if that was with the sand or not. I had gotten some sand. But let's say I put some sand back there. Me and my buddy get in it, then we're over 8,000 pounds. Then I'm not legal. Put some tools in the toolbox and stuff like that. Exactly how that works, exactly what the police are going to do, I'm not sure. But that's why once I realized how it worked, I just told her, just give me the biggest one. That way I didn't have to worry about it. 10,000 pounds. Truck, the plow, and some sand. If I happen to move some furniture, I'm not going to be overweight. I just watched a video a few weeks ago that happened to a fella. I think a state patrolman stopped him, and I think he was pulling a trailer. I'm not really sure, but he turned out to be overweight, but I think he was working for someone else. and I think they just didn't know. So I'm not sure. So something else with the heavy weight is a few weeks ago I went a foot off the driveway into the dirt, into the grass, spun the tires for 10 seconds or less, and I was stuck in the mud up to the muffler. That F-250 is real heavy. When it hit that dirt and it wasn't froze yet, it just sank. So that's why with a smaller truck, it won't be as heavy. Sure, you may not be able to push real heavy wet snow, but there's other things that you can do that so you just have to figure out what you want to do. I'm sure the F-150s, I think they're built pretty strong. You see guys talking about the suspension isn't as strong and stuff like that, but just to push a little bit of snow, most people don't get feet of snow. You're talking 3-4 inches of snow on cement driveways. I'm sure F-150 can handle that. So just depends on what you want to do. If you're snow plowing out in the woods and the driveways are a half a mile long, I'd get the F-250 or something similar. So okay, so if you find a truck with no plow, and there's nothing wrong with that, but then you have the additional expenses. You have to buy a plow, used or new. You got to have the plow installed. You got to do the wiring. I just watched a video the other day. The guy said when you order the truck new from the dealer, trucks come with a plow kit. They're reinforced in certain ways. There's a whole bunch of other things that go along with that. Plus, if you buy a truck with no plow, if you get a used plow, it's going to need, it may need repairs. Most likely it's going to need repairs. That's why they quit using it, which sometimes is no big deal if it's small things. But see, here's mine. For a new pump, $1,300, $1,200, $2,000, and that's not installed. That's just shipped to the house. Okay. Here's an older one, $900. It's probably been rebuilt. There's companies that rebuild these things. So here's a joystick for a V-plow, $200. So that's why I say if you buy a used plow, there's all types of other expenses. That's why it's nice to get one that works. I'm presuming you're new at this. You don't understand the mechanics. So it's on the truck and it works. That'll get you started. Doors on the truck. In general,